Joining me now, Tommaso Della Longa from the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Society. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, Tommaso. Well, I don't know if you heard our reporter in Egypt there, but there's all sorts of good intentions being held up by difficulties on the borders, both presumably in the north, but also, of course, that southern entry from Egypt. This is clearly a huge crisis, the biggest your organisation has faced in a long time.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Yeah, I mean, this is a large-scale crisis, this is for sure, and the situation is really complicated and is getting worse minute by minute. So I think that the time for the appeals is finished, and now we really need action. What we are seeing at the moment in the Gaza Strip is that people really need everything. We are lacking medicine, we are lacking fuel. Palestine Red Crescent colleagues are telling us that they don't have any more fuel for the generators, for the electricity, so then for the hospital, which means ICU unit or incubators for babies that will not work anymore. So I deeply believe that we really need to have safe access, and we need to bring humanitarian aid to the people that really need it.
I mean, the risk to life is high, is it not? You've lost team members, I understand, in both Gaza and in Israel, if I'm not wrong, so there are dangers involved in this relief operation which must be taken into consideration.
Yeah, this is absolutely true, and I mean, unfortunately, we lost 7 of our members, 3 members of the Magen David Adom in Israel last weekend, and then recently 4 paramedics of the Palestine Red Crescent in 2 different incidents. I think that is really a stark reminder of how the level of violence, where it has arrived. But then it's also a reminder of the call to all the parties to respect the international humanitarian law, to respect civilians, to respect healthcare workers, to respect hospitals and ambulances. This is non-negotiable. This is a matter of international law that needs to be respected by all the parties.
Your operatives, they have experience of this area. Some of them live full-time in Gaza and the Magen David. They're also experienced in this area. What are their hopes for access? What are their hopes for being able to open up communications, supplies, aid, anything to assist your role on the ground?
Well, of course, hope is always there, and our call in all the parties involved is to, again, for respect for civilians, for safety, for access to humanitarian aid. What I want to commend here is really to highlight the role of the Magen David Adom in Israel, the role of Palestine Red Crescent in Gaza Strip. Our volunteers, our staff members are members of their own local communities. They are coming from there, they are trained to respond to every emergency, and also now they're doing the utmost for their communities. But of course, with a limited capacity and in a context that is very complicated for all.
I was going to say, they can't do their jobs without more supplies.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was at the phone yesterday with some colleagues of Palestine Red Crescent telling me we're running out of fuel, we don't have any more medicine. And actually also with this last news of yesterday of the evacuation, mainly they told me there is a huge confusion, and people are just asking how we will survive. So we had these, I would say, heartbreaking calls of colleagues from Gaza calling colleagues in Ramallah saying, we want to say goodbye now because we don't know when we will be able to speak again.
And Tommaso, I'm wondering what your plans are. You face 2 potential different scenarios in the near future. One is that perhaps you get access, but it's just Gaza with Palestinians inside. The other possibility is that you're going to have a standing army of Israeli forces, perhaps occupying the ground all the way down to Gaza City. That'll change everything for the relief agencies like yourselves, won't it?
Yeah, the reality is that all the parties need to give access to humanitarian aid, to give safety for this access. So, of course, there are different scenarios, possible different scenarios, something better, something worse, but then the point here is that we need to have a space where colleagues of Palestine Red Crescent, colleagues of other humanitarian agencies will be able to deliver.